What up? It's your boy, Dick Incredible Man, and yes, I'm back at it again. And this is my discussion/review for 911 Season 3, Episode 12, man. Yes, it feels so good and perfect to have the original 911 back. And I love this episode. It was another wonderful episode, and it feels so good to have it back. Yeah, man, this episode was great. I loved it. We started with another video from these idiots that put their friend's head in a microwave and threw him in a pool or something last time like that, or cement or something like that. So they've been doing stupid stuff the whole time, and this time was no different. They decided to put their friend on a merry-go-round and attach a motorcycle to the bottom part of it and spin it around with the motor and the tire from the motorcycle, and all of a sudden fire burst out and they couldn't get to it, and then they decided to leave their friend and let him still be constantly spinning around. And boy, when 911 got there, oh my gosh, the dude's eyes had bulged out, and it looked so horrendous. It was so bad. It looked so bad. It was so nasty and disgusting. And they had popped out and they were puffy. His face was all swollen because he had constantly been spinning around the whole time. And Hen and Chimney had got there to oh boy. I'm just visualizing it. It's so bad. To put his eyes back to normal, they had to dilate them, and then they had to kind of like squeeze out everything that happened, and then pushed him back into his face. Oh my god, it was so nasty. But then he came back to normal, and he was like, thank you guys, I can see again. Dude, you were messed up. You could not only see, you were at the possibility and risk of having a stroke, probably maybe like a brain aneurysm or something. You were almost dead. And so Bobby called Athena, and they arrested these two fools for reckless endangerment and a bunch of other crimes. And Bobby filmed them going to jail, and he showed the dude, and the dude was like, I should find new friends. Dude, these guys aren't your friends. Every time they've almost constantly killed you for these stupid stunts that they're trying to post on the internet. Leave these guys alone. That was just one of the strange cases. The other, oh boy, we get to see this chick and this dude, like their whole dating profile thing, and it ended up matching them together. And they had this wonderful date, I'm assuming, because it gave us these little pop-ups to tell us. They ate, they had a great time, they came back to relax and get to know each other a little better, started kissing, getting to the good. And next thing you know, her stomach starts to rumbly and to tumbly. So she goes to dude's bathroom, and oh my gosh, it was the funniest thing. They had these little things pop up, like text, and it was like, everybody knows on a date, you poop before, you poop after, you never poop during a date with someone. And she did, and the toilet overflowed, and the water was just going everywhere, and she couldn't get it. So what she decided to do was take the poop and wrap it in a hand towel and just throw it out the window. But it didn't work because she tried to throw it out the window. It fell on the ledge. She tried to get it. She got lodged in the window. Oh, it was so much. The police the firefighters get called, and they come to set her free. And the funniest thing happened. Buck was there, and he was like, well, this is original wood, Cap, and I don't think we'll be able to, just pry it out and get her out of there. We're going to definitely I don't think we'll be able to poop the panel. It was so fun. It was hilarious. I really loved it. Oh my gosh. And then that's where it really kind of, oh boy, it was so funny. But after that, man, after those two things, and they didn't happen back to back, they kind of spaced out over the episode. But after those two things, pretty much everything else in this episode was super serious. We have the lady and her husband, and she had a bullet in her head. She didn't even know it. Her husband shot her all because he was angry because she wanted to spend time with him because he had early retirement. What? And he shot her. And she didn't know, but she was constantly having headaches, losing memory, and all of this stuff. And he was kept telling her, there's nothing wrong with you. It's all in your head. And come to find out, she had a bullet lodged in her head. They take it out, and then we get to find out the story, and we see that he actually shot her. dude, are you kidding me? We talked to the nosy neighbor lady, and it's a good thing that she was like constantly paying attention to her neighbors, because she really helped the police along with the investigation. And because she's like the neighborhood watch lady, she had like a list of everything. Like, yeah, the contractor was here. You need his information. So she had it all planned and all set up, and it was nice because it shows that, you know, sometimes, man, humanity just puts a smile on your face, man, because you have a lot of neighbors and stuff. They don't care about what their neighbors are doing or whatever, and because they liked each other and they spoke to each other on a daily basis whenever they saw each other, she was able to help this lady out in a real tragic situation, and he got arrested, which was good enough for him. But then we get to like something more serious this episode, and that is Eddie and Christopher. And we have Christopher at school, and Eddie's kind of doing like the parent-teacher conference thing with I can't remember her name. Anyway, the nurse that, you know, that was there with that watches Christopher. And they were doing the parent-teacher conference thing for Christopher, and Eddie meets this teacher that teaches Christopher, and she's actually kind of hot, and they were having this whole moment going back and forth, and I was like, Eddie may have a new love interest, because we haven't really seen Eddie with anybody ever since Christopher's mom tragically got killed, because they were working on things and trying to get back together, and we haven't really seen that part of Eddie. We've seen him kind of handle his grief in kind of like a MMA fighting role. But I think he kind of finally put it behind him, and he's out, and he could be looking or not, but I know he was looking at her. But the next day, Christopher goes to school, and he tries to skateboard, all because, you know, Eddie constantly tells him that, you know, you can do anything you want, and that's not the case. I mean, he can, but he can't do it like everyone else. He's going to have to work at it a lot more, and it's going to be a whole lot harder because he has CP, and that really showcased this episode. And I felt kind of bad, man, because Christopher, you know, he told Eddie that you lied to me. I mean, I was trying to do what you told me I can do anything, and I wanted to skateboard, and he fell and got like really injured. And then Eddie laid into the teacher, and you can definitely tell that she didn't know, because a kid brought it on its own, but he laid into her like it was her fault, like she allowed it to happen. She didn't know, and it happened, and he tore into this lady like real bad. But the nurse kind of told him, well, hey, you should sit Christopher down and tell him that he is different. But that doesn't change a thing. It just changes, well, it changes his circumstances. I mean, because he can still do probably some of the stuff that other kids can do. He can't do everything, but you need to sit him down and tell him that. And Eddie didn't want to hear it, but he realized at the end of the day that he really had to, because Christopher has CP, and otherwise Christopher would constantly think that he can do anything when he can't physically. So it was nice to see the resolution, because at the end of the episode we see Christopher skateboarding, even though it's in a harness and in a I don't know what you would call it, maybe like just a big combined thing to help him stand up. But it was so fun, and it was so nice to see Buck, Eddie, and the nurse there helping Christopher skateboard and film it. So it was nice, and even the people around there were clapping and cheering, and so it felt very motivational, and it felt very good, and it made me think that, you know, like whatever you're going through in your life, and if you constantly have people tell you can't do it, you know, work at it at a different angle. There's always a way, man. And it was wonderful to see that. Then we also have a super serious thing with Josh, the 911 caller. We see him, Buck, Maddie, and Chimney having like a fun game night playing poker, and Josh decides to go on an online date. And he goes on this date, and he tells Maddie before he goes on a date that, well, he really just wants to spend time with someone, because he's so stressed out from their job, because they deal with such intense, stressful situations, and he just wanted someone to come home to and someone to spend time with, you know, to kind of just relax. And he didn't want a one-night stand. He wanted an actual companion and someone to just possibly even just hold him and just be there with him, because they work in a very stressful job. And he met this cool, funny guy, and even when we were introduced to him, I felt like, okay, he met someone that like actually likes him, and they're going to pursue a relationship probably. And the dude calls him off to the side and uses the excuse to make out, and they beat him bad, man. And he had to go to the hospital, and they mugged him. They took his keys, his wallet, and everything, and they mugged him and beat him. And when he went to the hospital, he called Maddie, and Maddie showed up. And the police asked him to give a description, and he decided not to. We found out later that it's not because he didn't want to. It was like he didn't want other people to look at the report that he filled out and feel, because he was embarrassed. It wasn't the fact that he got beat up or mugged. It was the fact that he let this kind of, he didn't let it happen, but he felt like he let it happen because he let his guard down, and they took advantage of that, and he felt more embarrassed than anything. And it's so sad. That's the kind of world we live in, man. And the sad thing is, because he decided to meet in a public place where all these people were, and the dude tricked him and made him put his guard down and called him off to the side and attacked this man. It's sad, man. But I love 911 for that, man, because at the end of the episode, we see him going back to work, and we see the lady and her neighbor bringing over some food for her. We see Christopher skateboarding. So everything kind of had a nice, resolved, happy ending. But it just was... I love 911, man. I really do, man. That's everything that happened, man. This your boy, Dick Incredible, man. Don't forget to smash that like button till you can't smash it anymore. Comment down below, and I'll be sure to respond to each and every one of them. And subscribe, but only if you really want to, man. Peace out.